2 weeks ago, we were in Russia. Now we are halfway across the world. It's round 17, the Japanese Grand Prix at the Suzuka International Circuit. A wonderful circuit steeped in Formula One history, and it forms as part of this year's 2019 calendar with only 5 races left. Round 17 takes part here in Japan, and then at the end of October, we're in Mexico City. The 30th of October now has a new little date, not a race, but an event, F1 in Hollywood. Then, of course, we resume on the 1st and 3rd of November with the United States Grand Prix, the Brazilian Grand Prix in mid-November on the 15th to the 17th, and then we end it all on the 29th to the 1st of December in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates. In the Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton has a 74-point lead over Valtteri Bottas. Charles Leclerc in 3rd place is in a battle with Max Verstappen and his teammate Sebastian Vettel. And then the battle for 6th is shaping up. Pierre Gasly is now only 3 points ahead of Carlos Sainz, and then Alexander Albon is closing in on that battle. But the battle for 9th and 10th is close. We've got 2 drivers level. Danny Ricciardo on 34 points, the same as his teammate Nico Hülkenberg. Lando Norris in 9th, just a point ahead. Then we've got Kvyat and Perez all level in 12th and 13th and 33. Raikkonen on 30 points as well. Magnussen closing in, but we've got Norris, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Kvyat and Perez and Raikkonen in a hunt for that 9th place. Lance Stroll on 19 points and 16th. Romain Grosjean only with 8. Antonio Giovinazzi worse off and only on 4 points. Then we get Robert Kubica on 1 and George Russell on 0. Mercedes have a chance to clinch the Constructors' Championship this weekend. They are on just 14 more points than Ferrari, and they are the champions this year. The battle though still raging between Renault, Toro Rosso, Racing Point for the battle for 5th in the championship, as McLaren are now 40 points clear. Hello, welcome to Suzuka in Japan, round 17 of the 2019 Formula 1 World Championship. And the big news on everybody's lips is the Typhoon. Yes, Typhoon Hagibis is in the Formula 1 paddock, expected to hit the worst on Saturday. We've got a live camera for you right now. And as you can see, it is currently night in Suzuka. Rain, though, expected throughout the weekend. Light rain tomorrow, heavier rain on Saturday. Currently predicting a washout, with Sunday being wet but getting better. It is absolutely horrific what we are expecting to see on Saturday in terms of the level of wind, the amount of rain, and to be honest with you, it looks very unlikely that we are going to see a qualifying session on Saturday. That means that once again here in Suzuka, it happened in 2010, it happened in 2004, we could see qualifying taking place on Sunday morning. That's 1 a.m. in the UK. But to tell us more about the Hurricane Hagibis and our local expert, Megan is at the touchscreen to tell us more about where the hurricane could go, how strong it's going to be, and where it can hit. Over to Megan.
Thanks, Josh. Because we all know you are not the hurricane expert in the family. Anyways, so this is Typhoon Hagibis. I struggle with the title a bit, to be honest. It's not, though I can manage. It's actually Joshua who told me the name of a typhoon, because I had no idea. Because I don't really keep up with that area for some reason, because I can never find the right sites to actually go on, though this time I have. Though the site I usually go on is, I'll show you in a second, though it's for like hurricanes. Hurricanes are it's basically the same thing. There's in different regions of the world, hurricanes are called different things. So in this region it's called typhoons, and in others it's called cyclones or hurricanes. So anyways, this is where it is right now. You can see right there, that's where it is right now. And that's where it just tells me where it's going to be, at what specific times it's estimating when it's going to be. So on Friday at 1, it's going to be here. So that's good. Though it shall affect qualifying, which it will, might not affect qualifying, though I think it will, and also will have effects of the next day, since it's only moving around 9 miles per hour, which Japan is a massive place, so we don't really think it's gonna pass by the time the race is on. That is where the eye is. Because if you're in the eye, the closer you get, the heavier wind speed it is. Though, if you are on the eye, you do get a bit of a break. Anyway, that's where it'll be on Saturday at 10. Oh, keep going over here like it's a touchscreen. Though, so far we can only see up to here at Sunday at 10. Right, so we can see that. That's where it is. And it's been... Well, it formed on the 4th of October. And it's obviously still going on. It's sustaining winds of 120 miles per hour, which is actually expected to rise by 40 miles per hour by the time it hits where the race is, affecting a load of things, because even if they're not near the eye, then the wind speed shall still be increasing, which I do not think, personally, the drivers will actually be allowed to race. So that's the pressure, 915 HPA, which, to be honest, I'm not sure what that actually means. Though all I know is that it's extremely strong. It's affecting the Marina Islands, and this is what I usually use, which I think we may actually need in Mexico, because hurricane season lasts a really long time. And it's like this. National Hurricane Center, because I've always had a passion for hurricanes. So, as you can see here, this is where it says Category 5 hurricane expected on race day, and though I keep saying hurricane, that's typhoon, which is equivalent to 160 miles per hour, and this is just estimated. It could go higher, it could go lower, it could be exactly right. No one really knows because it's unpredictable. And here we can see the Saffir-Simpson scale, which I do actually love to use because it very accurately tells you what category a hurricane is. And as you can see, at the minute it's a Category 3 hurricane, though that is a Category 5 for what's expected on Sunday during race day. That's all, basically. I have to say, I personally don't think the race shall continue. Anyway, back to Josh.
Thanks, Megs. Well, it's a bit of an interesting one, isn't it? You don't know where it's going to be. You don't know exactly if it is going to disrupt qualifying. The latest news that we have is that tomorrow, that's Friday, so after practice is concluded, they're going to wait until about 6 o'clock in the evening in Japan to give a decision to the teams. Are we going for qualifying on Saturday, or are they going to, like they did in 2004, completely shut the circuit and say, no one's coming in, we're qualifying on Sunday morning? It looks likely we'll have a Sunday morning quali and a Sunday evening race, but of course it'll still be wet, so we've all got to wonder what's going to happen. Let's go on then to the Japanese Grand Prix and take a look around the Suzuka circuit. Built back in the 1960s, its first race was back in 1987 though. It's seen so many title deciders. It's seen battles, Prost and Senna, Mansell and Piquet, and even Hamilton and Rosberg. It has seen so much drama over the years, but it is still one of the favourites on the calendar. It's a tricky, tight circuit. It's very street circuit racing, but the fans here make this place electric. Let's go right on board then with Red Bull Honda at the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. Let's take a look round the Suzuka International Racing Course. 5.807 kilometres, 53 laps ahead of us on Sunday, and a lap record of a 1:31.54 road. Start the clock down towards turn 1. Heavy braking zone, just flick the car in, mid-corner, hit the brakes down 5th gear as you turn into the second apex of turn 2. Rising up, turn 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. It's the S curves. The car has to be in perfect balance, otherwise you will lose a lot of your sector time and a lot of lap time. pole position, won and lost here in the past. Up the hill towards the Dunlop curve. And we've seen many tragedies over the years as you head down in towards the Degner corners. Degner 1, 5th gear, drop down 2 gears into Degner 2, underneath the circuit with the figure of 8, and up now towards turn 11, the Spoon curve. Flick the car in, very late apex, down 2nd gear, and accelerate now. Now it begins to smooth out. It now follows the traditional Japanese letter for 11 as you ripe up towards turn 12. Brake hard, 6th gear, turn 13, brake down 2 more gears into 4th, down into turn 14, and past now the national pitch straight used for the Rally Championship, approaching one of the fastest corners on the track. 8th gear, flat out, quick kink, the 130R. Flick the car in, hope you make it, and then you're into the Casio triangle. Heavy on the brakes, down the way, all the way from 8th gear to 2nd gear. 3-part corner to complete the lap in the Red Bull Honda, easy to the line. And the Suzuka International Racing Course, built in the 60s, first Grand Prix in 1987, and it's going to be an interesting weekend where Mercedes could clinch their 6th World Championship for the constructors. Right, let's get on to some news then for the Japanese Grand Prix, and we begin with the fact that Formula One, as we said earlier, closely monitoring the Typhoon Hagibis situation and whether or not we're going to go racing on Saturday. But the best news that we could have hoped for has actually happened. Juan Manuel Correa, as we said last time in Russia, was awakened from his coma, and he has had the surgery on his legs. He's in recovery, and he has spoken for the first time since his accident, of course, which he was also involved in that tragic death of Antoine Hubert. Simply, it's available online. He's put a video out saying everything, but it's been a shock, and he has paid tribute to his friend Antoine Hubert as he has now learned what has happened. Of course, he was in a medically induced coma since the end of August. So stay strong, Juan Manuel Correa, and we'll hope to hear some more positive news on him soon as well. The driver market, well, Hulkenberg is playing the pantomime game on the 2020 season. He can only realistically go to Williams. Everybody else is locked up for the 2020 season, so he really only has got Williams left, and that ties in nicely to the fact that Kubica to sort racing program before considering what his F1 role could be going forward. A lot of people are suggesting, is he going to go to Ferrari and be their simulator driver, has been suggested. I've heard Haas. So really, he's got a few options to go around, but not as a race driver, as a simulator driver, as he looks to see what he's going to do next. Staying under the radar has seasoned me for future success, says George Russell. Many people saying in Russia that his drive was under threat for next season and the season after. No, I don't think so. George is in a horrible car with the Williams. It's massively aerodynamically wrong, and he has had a great season. He's outqualified Robert Kubica at every single session this year. So, yeah, it's not really going to be in doubt, is it? What's clear is the situation wasn't clear. Leclerc, there you go. How many Leclercs can you get in one bid? Charles Leclerc not expecting repeat of Sochi team order confusion. Yes, this has been the thing that has been the biggest story coming out of Sochi was Ferrari, and that the fact that Charles Leclerc got pole position, he gave the toe to Sebastian Vettel down to the turn 2. Vettel got ahead, he had a great start, blocked off Hamilton, and then of course lap 6 after the safety car came in, he was called to give the order back. Let Charles Leclerc past. That was the team order. Sebastian Vettel claimed that he never heard that order and that he would have to stay where he is. But, as we heard in the commentary, he wanted to give it another lap so that Charles can catch up. Charles couldn't. He waited until the pit stop and Leclerc got the pace back. But at that time, the two Mercedes in front had already got an advantage that benefited them when Sebastian Vettel stopped and caused the virtual safety car. So, a free pit stop was given to Mercedes, Leclerc had to stay out, and then a lap later, the safety car was called as George Russell went to the wall. So, then Leclerc pitted, lost track position to Bottas, and could never get it back. So really, Sebastian Vettel, claiming not to have heard the team radio, cost the team points and a possible 1-2 in Russia. Instead, That one too went to Mercedes. And now all Mercedes need this weekend is to outscore Ferrari by 14 points. And they will be the Constructors' Champions for 2019 for the 6th year running. Yamamoto apologised to Pierre Gasly for taking his Toro Rosso seat for FP1 tomorrow. Yes, the Super Formula driver is currently in a championship hunt. Yamamoto, of course, son of Suzuki Yamamoto, who last raced back in 2010 at the Korean Grand Prix. Another wet race weekend, by the way. He's driving this weekend, so yeah, Kazuki's Yamamoto. It's a pretty tricky one because we've got Kamui Kobayashi, Kazuki Nakajima. But yes, Yamamoto is racing tomorrow in the Toro Rosso of Pierre Gasly. They are evaluating him for a possible 2020 seat. He has got the super points because he's been in racing in Super Formula and he's been the world champion in that for the past 2 seasons. So he has got the talent, he has got the super points, and maybe he could be in the Toro Rosso next year if they decide to drop either Kvyat or Gasly, or promote one of them up to Red Bull and Gasly goes out completely or Kvyat goes out completely. It's still very much all we know really is that the only driver secure is Max Verstappen. So Yamamoto out for Gasly tomorrow in FP1. Keep an eye on that as we go forward. Vettel confident Ferrari have solved the engine problem in Russia that caused him to retire. Now, we heard it was a KERS issue. He had no K, which is the kinetic energy recovery system. So that's why he stopped off in Russia. And it cost him valuable points, of course. And in the battle for second in the championship, that's between Bottas, Leclerc, Verstappen and Vettel. It's cost him a lot. And he's going to have to do a lot to keep up with it. Bottas expecting decent performance from Suzuka as Mercedes have come with an updated package. Yes, they have a new front wing element, and we're going to be looking more in depth at the 2 title contenders, the 2 winners this year of the 3. We're going to be looking at the Mercedes W10 and the Ferrari SF19 on the touchscreen on Saturday as well, in a bit of an extended show as it looks like we're not going to have any running. So we'll be doing the touchscreen analysis on that as well. But the biggest talking point, though, is what happened on the track today was that in the 1965 Honda Formula 1 car, that when they won their first ever Grand Prix, Max Verstappen took that car out for a spin earlier on today in front of the fans. So it's going to be an interesting weekend. Friday looks to be a bit distorted with running because of the weather, but if it does rain, which is predicted to, it might come in FP2, which means they won't get to do their race runs, which means they won't get to do it on Saturday either, because that looks to be a washout and we might not have been in the circuit. So that means come Sunday, when the race actually starts, they would have only had FP1, no FP2 running in the dry, and they would only have Sunday morning qualifying to have their reference point, and they're not allowed to. So Sunday's race already looking to be extremely exciting. So stay tuned for that one. Here's your coverage details then. Because it's a night race, it's very distorted this weekend. So join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock UK time in the afternoon for the Friday practice review. Then on Saturday, depending if we are actually running at all, join us at about 5:30 for the third practice review before qualifying gets underway. And if there isn't any running on Saturday, then join us at 11 o'clock in the morning for the Saturday delayed show, where we will go through some features. Me and Megan have got some features planned with racing around on Gran Turismo. Finally, I know we've promised you we're going to get it done. And we're also going to have a look closer at the Ferrari and the Mercedes on their 2019 cars on the touchscreen as well. And if we do get some running on Saturday and get a qualifying grid, then join us on Sunday for the Sunday race preview. That will be at 5 a.m. and we'll have all the features back again as well, including lap attack, touchscreens and everything. So nearly a full hour's build up for you on Sunday, depending on what happens. But right now, it's looking to be an interesting weekend in qualifying. He's going to be either on Saturday or Sunday, but one thing we do know, join us for practice tomorrow morning. It's on Sky Sports F1, 1:45 a.m. for FP1 as well, 5:45 for FP2, and we'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock for the Friday practice review show here on YouTube. It was all here. Bye for now.